Hey everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, back again with another news update. We have some big news on rumoured plans for Roman Reigns after WrestleMania 34. We've got some news on Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross. We've got some news on Daniel Bryan, a quick update on the circumstances surrounding his WWE return. And finally, we've got a big announcement coming from William Regal concerning NXT. Let's get straight into it. First, news coming out of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which seems to imply that Roman Reigns has an opponent set for after WrestleMania 34. Now, we know that Roman Reigns is heavily favoured to be defeating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship, but even if he doesn't, this seems to be his next feud. So without anyone sort of saying this is what's going to happen in the main event, there's an idea of who he's going to face afterwards, regardless of whether he wins the title or not. Although he almost certainly is winning the title because it's Roman Reigns. He's the big dog. He spears people and wins lots of wrestling matches. Now, the man rumoured to be feuding with Roman Reigns after WrestleMania 34 is said to be Samoa Joe, who has, of course, been out for a little while now, a couple of months, with an injury. But this will be, I think, a very exciting opportunity. Joe has obviously feuded with Lesnar in the past, and he was excellent, even though their match itself was kind of abrupt and Lesnar sort of won in disappointingly straightforward fashion. I think the build-up was excellent. Joe was very threatening and dangerous. There was that infamous promo where he quietly threatened Paul Heyman in the corner of the ring. Not even threatened him, he just said, look, I'm about to choke you out, I'm really sorry. He didn't say I'm sorry, but he seemed almost apologetic. He was like, I'm going to choke you out. Heyman was like, what? No. And then he just did it. He just choked him out. But it was the quiet menace with which he delivered those lines. Not on the microphone, it was caught by a ringside mic. Was just superb, and I can't wait to see, if this is true, I can't wait to see what's in store between himself and Roman Reigns. Now, even though this isn't 100% confirmed and everything can always change in WWE, it goes against my initial prediction, which was that Roman would feud with Rollins after WrestleMania. I thought Rollins was on the end of a big push, like he did that insanely long gauntlet match on Raw. He's been looking awesome in everything he's done so far, and then he was kind of shuffled into that Intercontinental title feud with The Miz and Finn Balor. So that's his match at WrestleMania, but afterwards I assumed he wasn't going to win that match, and then he was going to transition into a feud with Roman, with whom, of course, he has a lot of history. Roman was the man who he physically turned on when he broke up the Shield. But according to Meltzer, it does seem to be Samoa Joe that Reigns is set to feud with in the months following. Another potential person to keep an eye on is Dean Ambrose, who's of course also been out of action with an injury and was rumoured to be turning heel before he was injured. He is of course the only member of the Shield since the Shield breakup not to turn heel. I mean, Roman hasn't turned heel, but the fans aren't really behind. Ambrose is the only clean-cut babyface out of all of the Shield since they broke up, and I think a heel turn for him would be phenomenal. He is a wonderful heel. He was a fantastic heel on the independent scene and also was a great heel when the Shield were heel, and he appeared to be their leader at first. In other news, Jerry Lawler has revealed on his podcast Dinner with the King that he and Jim Ross are set to call the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia next month. It's unclear whether he meant the match itself, the 50-man Royal Rumble, which will be presumably headlining the event, or whether he meant the whole show like itself. The last time we saw Lawler and Jim Ross was at the 25th anniversary show of Raw, where they were in the Manhattan Center, which was kind of a controversial show. They didn't have too much to do. There weren't too many segments that actually took place in the Manhattan Center, but it'll be nice to hear them again calling the action, especially on a show which isn't, I mean, I guess it is part of the WWE canon, as it were, but it's not a regular part of their pay-per-view calendar. It's a bit of a sideshow event, and it'd be very nice to hear some old school voices behind it, especially because it's a Rumble. And Jim Ross calling Rumble is just, it's going to be great, isn't it? Now on to news about Daniel Bryan and the circumstances surrounding his return to a WWE ring. We're all, of course, tremendously excited to see Bryan back in the ring. He's one of the best and most popular wrestlers of all time. However, it must be noted that special precautions are kind of being taken with Bryan due to the nature of his injury problems in the past and the unlikeliness of him returning to action. And now that he is returning to action, it looks like WWE are going to wisely be a little bit cautious with Bryan. Apparently, he will have to undergo impact testing after every one of his matches. That's very exciting because it implies that he's going to have more than one match. Like, I personally was a little bit worried that his big return would be one match at WrestleMania and then he was out. But no, matches, plural, seems to imply that he'll be around for the long term. Also, I think this is probably quite wise. I wouldn't want to be taking any risks with Daniel Bryan, and as excited as I am to see him back, obviously his health is of prime importance. Also, when I heard the news, I first saw the word Impact and saw the word Daniel Bryan, and I thought, surely not. No way. But can you imagine if he turned up in the Impact? No, let's not even dwell on that for too long. And finally, William Regal has revealed that he will be making a big announcement next week on NXT, which is set to change the very landscape of the brand. Now, We know what that is. Like, if you want to know what that is, there's spoilers out there on the internet from NXT tapings. It's already taken place, but I won't spoil what that is right now. But I will point out that it is something which permanently changes NXT not in a massive overhaul way, but it certainly adds to the show a considerable amount. It's very exciting, and it'll involve numerous wrestlers, some current, some newcomers as well. So that's pretty exciting indeed. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter at JackTheJobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic, and you can catch our Patreon as well, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And one more thing, never ever forget, of course, to join us.